Hi everyone. Welcome to the children's program at Leaside United Church in Toronto. Today we're going to be learning about some animals and what they provide for us and ways we can protect them. For today's craft, you will need a toilet paper tube, some colorful construction paper, at least 3 colors, a pair of scissors, some glue or tape, whichever you prefer, a pencil crayon or a marker, and ruler. Now, if you're watching this live, you can try and quickly gather your supplies as soon as possible, or if you're watching on YouTube, you could pause the video and go and collect them. Now, we're going to light the Christ candle. Do you remember why we light the Christ candle each week? It's to remind us of the light that shines in each and every one of us. Animals are important to us, and today we want to thank God for animals, specifically for bees. Bees pollinate plants, and without them, we wouldn't have flowers or trees or fruit or vegetables. And bees also give us honey. So to give thanks today, we're going to close our eyes and breathe in and out. When you breathe in, I want you to think, thank you, God. And when you breathe out, I want you to think, for bees. Let's breathe in, thank you, God, and out, for bees. And in, thank you, God, and out, for bees. And on our own, well done. Last week we listened to a Bible story from Job. Job told us that we need to listen to the animals and the birds and the plants and the fish, and that they would all tell us that in God's hand is the life of every living thing and the breath of every human being. Let's think for a moment about the animals in our lives. Animals might be our pets. They might provide us with food. They might annoy us or even scare us. And there are those animals in our country and other countries around the world that are endangered, which means if we're not careful, there will be no more of these animals alive on Earth. Just like us, animals need food, water, and a place to live to survive. While we're doing our craft today, we're going to think about ways to care for and protect the animals that live among us. So for today's craft, we're going to be making a bee. So you need to get your toilet paper roll or tube, piece of paper that will be the color of the body. It doesn't have to be yellow, but that's what I chose. You're going to line up the bottom of the toilet paper tube along the edge of the paper and then draw a line at the top. That'll tell us how tall the piece of paper needs to be. Then I drew a line on the toilet paper tube and I lined it up at the edge and rolled it along until it met the paper and then a little bit past and drew a line to tell me how long I needed the paper to be. Drew a line there, give me a guide for cutting, and then put a ruler along the top and you can draw a line to join the top of the toilet paper tube, and now you have a rectangle that you can cut out. So remember, you don't have to have a yellow bee with black stripes like I had. You could have a purple bee with green stripes and maybe it has pink wings. That's up to you, whatever you want to do. Use your imagination. Now, once we have this rectangle cut out, we are going to take a piece of paper that's the color we want for our stripes. We're going to lay the yellow piece of paper on top of it, or the body colored piece of paper on top, and then draw a line to give us a guide for when we're cutting out the stripes later. By the way, if you don't have a toilet paper tube, you just need a piece of paper about 10 centimeters tall and 15 centimeters long. Now we're going to get tape or glue. I'm using tape, and we're going to put tape all over the body so we can get ready to tape it to the toilet paper tube. While we're fast forwarding through the tape going on the body, I want us to think about our first question. How can we care for the animals that live amongst us? Well, if there are pets, we'd give them food and clean water, and we clean up after them. We could plant a garden, maybe one that is a habitat for bees or butterflies. Or for older, we could volunteer at an animal shelter. Well, now that we've got the tape, we're going to roll the tube onto that tape and cover it with the paper. If you've just made a tube of a piece of paper, you just make sure you have tape or glue on the edge and make yourself a tube. Now we're going to do the stripes. So you need your pencil and your ruler, and you're just going to take a look and see, I'd like a skinny stripe, and you're going to need 3 of them. So you're going to have to draw 3 lines for 3 stripes. And then we'll cut those out and attach them to the body. Some of this might be a little bit fiddly for little hands, and we might need Mom and Dad to help, but hopefully it will be a fun craft. So we'll cut out these pieces of paper, and then we will attach them to the body using our tape or our glue. Now, when you attach the first stripe, make sure that you leave some space. Don't attach it too high. Leave a few centimeters because we're going to put a face on later on. So we'll attach the 3 stripes to the body with our tape or our glue. So there's 1, all done. And then we'll get 2 and 3 attached super fast. There's 2. And there's 3. Great. So now we have the body of our bee ready to go. Next, we're going to make wings. So you need another piece of paper, another color. I chose white. Again, you can choose the color you want. And lay the bee down, and you're just going to freehand wings. So I'm making sort of wavy wings, but you could make triangular wings. You could make square wings, rectangular wings, whatever shape you want. So I traced out the wings, and then I'm just going to fill in the spaces, and we'll get a close-up here to have a look. There you go, fill in the spaces so I know all the lines to cut. And then we're going to grab our scissors, and once again, we're going to cut out the wings. While the wings are being cut out, we'll think about our second question. What can we do to protect wildlife in Canada and our world? Well, we could work to protect the places where they live by not destroying the homes, the trees, the forests, plants. We could protect those plants that the animals eat. We could keep their water supply clean by not polluting. We could donate to groups that protect endangered animals. There we go. The wings are done. Now we need to attach them to the bee. So a couple more pieces of tape or glue, whatever you're using, and we will get the wings attached to the back of the bee. So there we go. We've got the wings, a piece of tape, and put them on, and voila. We are getting close to the end. Next, you're going to take your marker or your pencil crayon and add some eyes, and if you want a mouth, a nose, whatever you think will work on your bee. It's your bee, your choice. So I'm putting on some eyes and a little tiny mouth saying, oh. And then one more thing. We need antenna. So we can go back to that piece of paper that you used for your stripes. And luckily in my piece of paper, I have a little space there, and I'm cutting out 2 little tiny strips. And I'm going to stick those onto the back to make the antenna. They're a little tricky to pick up again. Your little fingers might be better than my big ones to pick those up. So 1 antenna, and we'll get the tape for the second one, and then our bee will be almost complete. There we go. We've made a bee from a toilet paper tube and some construction paper. Well, our time has come to an end. But before we go, let's give thanks to God for all the animals and insects of the earth. Let's give thanks for all who care for the animals. And let's request God's help in protecting the habitats, food, and water supply of the animals. Have a good week, everyone. We'll see you next time.